Okay, so I wanted to just make a short video on the things I've experienced being in a safe relationship situation and versus the things that I experience in unsafe relationships. However, those unsafe relationships were familiar to my nervous system, effectively making my body think it was safe, or, that whole addictive process that I speak about. So, yes, it does exist, but I did a lot of healing to get to the point where I could even welcome in someone who is safe into my life, because I was just completely like, they weren't even on my radar, right? Like, I was just kind of looking for those toxic qualities because I was just so used to it. So, anywho, yes, these men do exist, and huge, huge, huge way that I decipher who is safe to me and who isn't is if their actions match their words, right? Everyone's probably heard of that, but have you actually applied it in real time to the relationship that you're in, right? So the person that I currently date, he follows that through with everything that he says he's going to follow through. I mean, as an example, like, he said he was going to FaceTime me the other day, and given my relational patterns, I was just like, he's probably not going to FaceTime me. Like, he's going to forget. He's not going to follow up. And I'm already thinking in my head, like, this is how ingrained your relationship patterns are to you and neurally wired into your brain to trigger, like, when you haven't experienced a thought and emotion from that. And that's why it's so important to become aware of these things and to be able to, like, pattern interrupt them. So, for example, right, I was like, he was like, yeah, I'll FaceTime you later when I'm doing this. I'm like, okay, great. I'm already in my head going, he's probably going to forget. If he does forget, that's a reason not to trust him. And if he does forget, that's just a reason that I shouldn't be in this relationship, right? And as someone who's experienced a lot of, like, childhood stuff and then relationship trauma, like, you are looking to put things in black and white, which first of all is unfair largely to a person because there's areas of gray, and you're looking to create safety, right? So I'm already looking at ways I can create safety and protect myself by being like, well, if he does this, then I do that, and I'm going to be safe if I do that. Okay, so I'm sure some of you can relate to that. It's pretty rough when you think about it. And then there becomes a lot of discernment, and that's why trusting yourself and developing that relationship with yourself and trust within your body is so important, right? Because there is going to come a time when your partner probably forgets to do something that they said that we're going to do. And that's not necessarily grounds for being like, goodbye, right? Because then you're making the relationship unsafe. If they feel like they need to be so perfect all the time that they can't make an error, which is human, right? Then you are making the relationship unsafe. And never mind when you have two people doing that, my God, right? So, again, this is why it's important to get that safety within yourself, right? So, he, however, follows through with everything. And again, I'm sure he will not be perfect because who would even want that, right? And then you're asking someone to basically kind of like walk on eggshells because they're afraid to mess up and they're always going to be feeling like they do something wrong, right? So it takes two to tango. But I just wanted to give that example because I'm so used to people not following through or having to beg for attention that even in the past I would be like reassuring, like trying to get reassurance from the person. Like, I'd be like, hey, we're still going to FaceTime later, right? Like, that's how anxious I was. Like, confirming and just like afraid that they're going to forget about me and they're not going to do what I say. And then layering in like, well, if they don't do what I say, or what they said, right, then all this is going to happen, blah, blah, blah. Like, crazy, right? That's crazy. That's a lot of anxiety and stress to put on myself. But now that I have that trust, it's like, okay, also, like, if he doesn't follow through on this, then I have the power to make a decision about it. And I can decide if this situation is right for me. Obviously, again, areas of gray, lots of nuance here, but I just wanted to throw that out there. It is possible to attract someone who does what they say they're going to do, and it's extremely refreshing. More to come on how this guy shows how he is so safe compared to relationships I've been in the past.